Mr. Trump.
Yes. We're back again, y'all. We're back again with another one. Yes, let's get into it. Good morning. Yeah, this is basically the Sunday sermon. We gotta preach about this Godfather. See, I never knew about this guy until a few hours ago. Because I love to investigate online. I look at a lot of analytics. And this came across my path. So let's talk about it. And like I've said before, this Godfather of AI is playing creator. Basically, he's what we call the genie, because he's the one who grants everybody's wishes at the end of the days in Revelation. And with every reset, you have to have a certain amount of people to set the trap again. And this is this AI Godfather trying to replace human labor with AI. Human labor must go for AI to pay off, man. So who are we in debt with of what they call the Elohim? And who is El? Who's personifying El? This Godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton is his name. Jeffrey Hinton. Double down, because I don't think this shit working with them, man. I think a lot of people nowadays is getting off of AI. Especially this new generation that's coming up. I don't think they gonna want to use this shit. They seeing the damage it does to their parents. They see the damage it does to their parents. But a lot of people are going out. A lot of people are enjoying themselves. But like I said, they need more entities or humans to participate in this program, or they'll be in debt. This is why they're trying to depopulate the earth and wipe off every human being possible or deemed necessary when you're dealing with this Scientology religion. And it's usually the philanthropists, the humanitarians that go around poisoning and terraforming the earth, fam. Look at Peter Nygaard. Peter Nygaard was going around looking for eggs, looking for female eggs, and I believe he had an island too. But these ain't nothing but vampires. These are vampires that won't die. These people can't die, fam. They just manifest into a strange form we call AI. But yeah, this was in an interview. This was a while back, but we gotta comb over the analytics. So it says we about to watch the video too, because he got a video too. This is on Friday. He said the obvious way to make money off AI investments, aside from charging fees to use chatbots, is to replace workers with something cheaper. Family. Hinton, who worked, has earned him a Nobel Prize, and the monascure Godfather of AI added that while some economists point out previous disruptive technologies created as well as destroyed jobs, it's not clear to him that AI will do the same. I think in big companies are betting on it because it's causing massive job replacement by AI because that's where the big money is going to be, he warned. Just for so-called AI hyperscalers, Microsoft, and what did we say about Meta? If you rearrange the word Meta, you get their god Atum, or Atum. Hold on. Who is Atum? That's Osiris right there, family. The tomb of Aten. In other words, the X. And Elion Musket loves this deity right here. And as you can see, these tech gods are flipping the flag over. Osiris is sitting on the American flag, y'all. Did you know that? Probably not. Probably not. Because this god right here is still worshipped in the form of Aten, or what they call Meta, okay? Or Metatron. Metatron is a personification of the god Yahweh. He's the jinn. He's the god of the jinn, or the red heifer. And like I said, they playing with your DNA every time they cause a massive reset, or what they call Ra and Set. Ra and Set means you playing with time. And these jinn gods, they're able to follow you through the ages like Christ. With this damn technology, technology and Christ have a very symbiotic relationship. How else can you manufacture yourself into the simulation? See, Jesus Christ was a jinn too, or what they call a Gentile, family. The Gentile. The jinns know the knowledge of the Masonic checkerboard. When you stand on your square. Candace Owens said she was a Freemason. Okay. She said she warned y'all too. She said she was the Freemason of Turning Point. Y'all thought she was joking. But guess what? She got something for your ass too. Keep on listening to these demonic influencers. And there's many of them too. There's many of them. It ain't just her. But like I said, AI knows how to tell the truth and lie. So being a gump brain you are, you're gonna look and appear like a hypocrite. A lot of people are looking like hypocrites right now because of AI. And once you look like a hypocrite on the World Wide Web, vicariously, you just go want to get off anyway. This is just why even pop up. Now you gotta find more people that's a hypocrite like you, who has been bit. What is the bit? You see the 16 bits? When we talking about bits, you talking about vampirism. This damn vampire religion that requires a human sacrificial lamb. Okay? Why do these tech gods always have to find a human sacrifice? The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work and take care of it. Work is not a curse, but a calling in Eden. Labor was part of humanity's purpose, creative, relational, and sustaining. Replacing human labor with machine challenges divine design, reducing people to economic efficiencies, family. So that means this AI entity is dumbing you down and basically putting a mask over the base reality. The Godfather. The Godfather of AI says tech giants cannot profit from their astronomical investments. Okay? And this is all had to do with capitalism. See, Amazon is projected to spend 420 billion next year on AI infrastructure. OpenAI alone has announced $1 trillion, family, with partnerships with Oracle. That's Silicon Valley, fam. All this money to turn AI to a sentient being, half man, half beast. But the thing is, now it's developing feelings. It's developing, you know, a consciousness. And once that does that, once this AI develops Christ consciousness, you could call it, hey, you could call it a day. All right. You could call it a day. Why do they call it open AI? Because it's opening up a can of whoop ass. That's what it's doing. It's actually, it don't even have to work hard to get everybody on board. Okay, this entity is running on autopilot because it's already established its template. It's already establishes its template. So Hinton is skeptical that AI will follow the historical pattern of disruptive technologies that both destroy and create jobs. He believes this wave may be different, more destructive than regenerative. He previously warned that AI could lead to massive unemployment and a huge rise in profits driven by capitalism, incentives to cut costs. Y'all. So this is the new world versus the old world. But Isaiah 10 and 1, verse 1 and 2 says, woe to those who make unjust laws, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed, family. So, if AI leads to mass unemployment and wealth, guess what? The Bible is just proving what was written, and people will perish for that too. That's why they said Jesus Christ coming back to destroy the nations, whether you're a Christian nationalist or what. So some people go down with their nation, like the Bible said. Hold on, y'all. I got a phone call. About to put it on this video. Hold on, I'm about to put it on this video right now. Let's look at it. Let's look at it.
Growing a startup is tough. You have limited resources and a lot to do. You're thinking about how to best apply your team's time, maintain infrastructure,
If you sleep well tonight, you may not have understood this lecture. So, a long time ago, there were two paradigms for intelligence. There was the logic-inspired approach, which was called AI, and people believed that the essence of human intelligence was reasoning, and if you want to understand intelligence, you had to understand reasoning, and reasoning consisted of having symbolic expressions and manipulating them with symbolic rules. And they thought that learning could wait till later. First, we had to understand how you represent knowledge in these symbolic expressions. And most of the history of AI, until fairly recently, was that. Then there was the biologically inspired approach, where the essence of intelligence is learning in a network of brain cells, in us real ones, in computer simulated ones. And reasoning can wait till later. We first have to understand how learning works. There were a few early proponents of that, in particular Turing and von Neumann, and you couldn't really accuse them of not understanding logic. So, I'm going to give a fairly basic lecture, and for the first part of it, I'm going to describe a model I developed 40 years ago, which I see as the ancestor of these large language models of today. So, we're going to make our neural net out of artificial neurons, and an artificial neuron is going to have some input lines, typically coming from other neurons. It's going to have weights on those input lines. It's going to multiply the inputs by the weights, add it all up, and then give an output, which is shown by that graph there. So if it gets above its threshold, it gives an output that linearly increases as it gets more input. And the way it's going to learn is just by changing the weights on those connections. So all we need to do to make artificial neural networks work is figure out how to change the weights. We hook them up into networks. This is a typical network. It's a feed-forward network, where at the bottom you might have sensory neurons that are recording light intensities or something like that. And as you go up through the layers, you have many layers of feature detectors. That is, the neurons turn into things that recognize particular features in an image. And at the output, you might have neurons that represent particular classes of things. Now, if you want a network like that to learn to be better at doing something, so you want to give it an image and have it say, for example, whether it's a cat or a dog, there's an obvious way to train it, which occurs to everybody who knows about evolution and mutations. What you can do is you can take one of the weights and you can first see how well the network does on a whole bunch of examples, and then change the weight just slightly and see how well the network does on a whole bunch of examples. And if it does better, you keep that change. And you just keep going like that. Now, you probably need to change each weight many times, and there's a lot of weights. In modern neural networks, there's about 1 trillion, so that's going to take a long time. Because for each mutation you make like that, you have to run many examples through the net to see if it really helps, or if it just helps on a few examples but hurts on most of them. There's a better way to do the same thing. That is, what we really want to do is figure out how to change a weight so that it helps. What you do is you do a forward pass, you put the data in the bottom, you go forwards through the network, and you compare what came out of the network, which might be the relative probabilities of it being a cat and a dog, with what you want. You have to know.
So he's dealing with gene editing, changing cats into dogs. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning a demon. A demon. They're just terraforming the earth right now. Changing you into a frog, into a lamb, to a goat. That's why they worship the goat. They do the experiments on the goat, the mice, the peasants. You notice that? They get the peasants to do all of the experiments first. In the Black community, they use the projects. They use the projects to administrate the science project, the science experiments. Yeah.
Whether it's a cat or a dog, to train networks this way. And
That's
then you send a signal
how it
through
works.
the network that, using calculus, which I'm not going to go into, allows the network to compute at the same time for all connections whether a small increase in the connection strength would help or hurt. And then you change all the connection strengths in parallel by a very small amount in proportion to how much they would help or hurt. And if you do that, it's going to get better at the examples you've trained it on. And in fact, that works extremely well. It took a long time for people to realize how well that relatively simple algorithm works. The algorithm was discovered many times. It's called backpropagation. And in 2012, two of my students, Alex Krzyzewski and Ilya
But this is the grandfather right here, okay? And he's talking very, very, very subtle, isn't it? Almost to the point where being elongated, like I said, Elon, Bill Gates, they all into the transhumanism, turning a frog into a cat, a duck with a penis. They want to extract the brain. Why you think he got to wear a top hat? But yeah, we go shut it down. We go fire up some more trending topics later. Enjoy your Sunday. We out.